reflection of the United States, not a reflection simply of Donald Trump's governance standards.
And David Gargan, you mentioned that you don't think Jared Kushner can serve in the White House without his top secret security clearance in any capacity. What do you make of the reporting tonight from our Kara Scannell that Ivanka Trump is under FBI scrutiny? For her, and her security clearance has not gone through, which has been almost a year since she joined the White House. What do you make of that?
Well, the larger lesson is that you cannot turn the White House into a family
แต่มัน
business.
จะไม่ดังนะ
And we've never seen that before either. And a lot of people warned against it. You know, tons of people warned against it before it started. Said there are going to be inevitable conflicts of interest. And here we are. And both individuals, I'm sure they're angry. I'm sure they feel put upon, that people are out to get them. But you cannot take a very complex business relationship with you into the White House and not begin to find conflicts of interest, especially when you're trying to help your companies or you're having private conversations with key people and suddenly there's money coming in the door. That creates suspicions.
Yeah. All right, thank you all very much. I mean, it's sort of definitional. When the company has your name on it, it doesn't matter if you're technically running it or not. People are going to give you money or bail you out or do all kinds of offers to try to curry favor with you. It's just the way it is. Thank you all. And next, the stock market plunging today. President Trump sparking the fall because he essentially threw the first salvo out in what would be a major trade war with massive tariffs, and his own party is angry. And optics, terrible for Jared Kushner. We've got new reporting tonight on exactly what he's doing with his family business and possible benefits from his day job at the White House.
If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis, little things can be a big deal.
ก็เอาช็อต
That's
ที่
why
แบบ
there's
ว่า
Otezla.
สำคัญเนาะ
Injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats differently. For psoriasis, 75% clearer skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. And for psoriatic arthritis, Otezla is proven to reduce joint swelling, tenderness, and pain. And the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Tell your doctor if these occur. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Other side effects include upper respiratory tract infection and headache. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
ได้เลยค่ะได้
With Expedia, one click gives you access to discounts on thousands of hotels, cars, and things to do.
แต่หนังยางมันจะเป็นหนังยางไม่ดีได้นะแต่อย่างนี้มันจะแบบว่า
Expedia.
น้อยชั่วโมงได้ของเยอะขนาดนั้นนะกันเห็นรูป
ใช่ดีฟาดแบบโอ้โห
เนี่ยยิ่งเวลาน้อยยิ่งได้ของเลยนะคะ
ก็ประมาณ2 ชั่วโมงนะเพราะพี่ไปเดินอุ้ยไอแบรนด์เนี้ยที่แบบชื่อในอเมริกา
You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase relieves your worst symptoms, including nasal congestion, which most pills don't. Flonase helps block 6 key inflammatory substances. Most pills only block 1. Flonase.
ก็ซื้อแบบไม่ทันแล้วเสร็จแล้วซื้อแล้วก็เดี๋ยวไปซื้อเมืองไทยแล้วไปซื้อเมืองไทยซื้อไม่ลงจริงๆมันก็ซื้อได้แหละแต่เรารู้ว่ามันถูกกว่าอะไร
CNN original series, Christiana Lamore, Sex and Love Around the World premieres March
ชุด
17th.
ต่อไปเป็นไหนเนี่ยระบุแล้ว
ชุดต่อไป
Oh my god.
ถ้าเร็วสุดถ้าไม่มีอะไรก่อนนั้นก็มา
What if you
แล้ว
could
อีก
lose
รอบ
fat
นึง
in just a few hours?
Just in shock.
โคเชียร่าไม่รู้เดือนไหน
With Sono Bello.
It seems no matter how much you work out or diet, there are parts of your body that just don't
โคเชี
seem
ย
to
ร่าที่มันเป็น
change.
แบบ
I went to the gym, I worked out at home, I bought videos. No matter what I did, that bulge was still there.
With its advanced micro laser technology.
Sono Bello gently removes that targeted fat and shapes your body for life-changing results.
As America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist, Sono Bello has performed over 100,000 personalized body and facial procedures, helping tens of thousands of people change their lives.
After 5 years trying to get rid of that roll of fat, Sono Bello did it in one day.
Call for your free no-obligation consultation today and get $250 off your Sono Bello body.
Payment plans Plans are
ถ่าย
available.
รูปมาสวยมากเลย
เจ๋งเนาะ
ถ่ายรูปกับโมเมนะแบบเป็นแบบดอกไม้กับทะเลอ่ะอย่างกระถ่ายแบบเหมือนกระถางมันฉากอ่ะมันสีสวยชัดจนแบบอุ้ยอย่างกระถางมันฉาก
แล้วเมื่อเช้านะไปเดินอีบ้าน
points after President Trump announced massive tariffs on steel and aluminum imports in a hastily arranged meeting at the White House.
Unlimited period.
บ้านเขาแบบไปมาก
It'll be 25% for steel. It'll be 10% for aluminum. And it'll be for a long period of time.
Very clear. Now, the market plunging because a 25% surge on steel, just as an example, a tariff there, according to economic analysis and what's happened in the past, would mean steel prices would go up for things like cars in America. And of course, other countries are likely to retaliate, which would hurt American exports. The bottom line is the tariffs usually do two things: rising prices in America and American job losses, which is a terrible combination. And that is why the president is standing very lonely on this issue. His Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, Secretary of Defense, Jim Mattis, his National Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster, and his Director of the National Economic Council, Gary Cohn, are all against Trump's tariffs. Speaker Paul Ryan came out against them. Mike Lee, the senator from Utah, said the tariffs are, quote, a huge job-killing tax hike on American consumers. Orrin Hatch, Republican, saying, quote, I don't believe in tariffs. They don't work well. Secondly, it creates tariff wars, and I just don't think that's the way to go. And I could go on and on. I don't even go to Democrats here. Let's just stay with people.
จริงด้วยแบบไปยิงเลเซอร์มันไม่เหลือเลยอะแบบพอมันไม่เวลาเราเดินทางมันก็เหมือนเราอดนอนอะจบหมด
Joan Walsh, thanks to both. Joan, you're closest to me. I'll start with you. Sources say members of the White House were caught off guard by this announcement today. They didn't expect it to happen. It was a hastily arranged meeting. The White House, of course, denies it, says that is not at all the case. Here's Sarah Sanders.
แบบดื่มอะไรนะดี
This is something again that the president has been talking about for a long time. It's not a surprise if we're going to continue doing what we can to protect America.
Not a surprise, right?
Come on, of course not. He's been talking about it for a long time. That's true. But the meeting was not on
คือ
the
ถ้ามัน
agenda.
ไม่ใช่บี
We've
รู้
known about
พี่
the
ว่า
meeting
ต้อง
being
เข้า
on
โรงพ
the
ยาบาล
agenda. It took everyone by surprise. It took his
ต้อง
own
เชิญแต่งหน้ากัน
administration
ไป
by
เอง
surprise. Everything showed. And I think he's taking the world by surprise. And maybe himself, because he's been crusading against Chinese steel. But then our number one importer is Canada. Canada, a great partner, a great ally, a great trading partner. They're outraged. The Chinese don't even rank in the top 5 steel imports to this country. So it's sort of it's this cockamamie, shoot first, aim later. It felt like it was meant to sort of distract from the other crazy headlines, but I don't know that he has the presence of mind to actually plan to do that.
เมื่อเช้าไปโดนปุ่มอะไรนู้นแล้วก็รีบตายและความสติแตกคือ
เลยไม่ได้
เลย
Well, but by the way, I think this is important.
Peter Navarro, obviously, is on his side. There's one.
Right. Well, I'm on his side.
On this one too.
Listen, here's the thing. When the president spoke, by the way, consumer confidence just hit his 70th. And that's not unrelated to what President Trump is doing in terms of trade and regulation. Hardly described when he ran for president. Hardly described his inauguration. He was
เนี่ยมันแบบน่ารัก
ฉีดไปก่อนเลย
ฉีดได้เลยก่อนหลังได้หมด
หรือพี่จะให้เสร็จก่อนแล้วก็เสร็จก่อนนะจะได้ไม่ต้องรอ
The American worker against
ใช่ค่ะ
unfair trade.
อันนี้พี่ก็ไปลอง
China has been taking us to the
เหมือน
cleaners
ติดกลิ่นเลย
for decades.
และขวดหรูหราลักชูรี่มาก
Enough. Our trade deals are going to be fair. We demand reciprocity. We demand fairness. And, by the way, stop stealing our intellectual property. Okay, on these terms, here's the thing, though, Joan. Even if this specific deal isn't China-centered, the point is President Trump is telling the world America will no longer be the willing victim in terrible trade deals.
แต่งนิ่งมากเลยแล้วแปรงเขามีขายไหมคะมีนี่ไม่ขาย
นี่เอ็กซ์คลูซีฟมากคือพี่ป้อมแบบที่ขาย
อ้าวแล้วไอเซตที่เป็นอย่างเงี้ย
อันนี้เป็นเฉพาะช่วง
อ๋อใครอยากได้ก็ต้องติดตามนะฮะในไลฟ์เมืองไทยกี่โมงเราก็ไม่รู้
เช้าตรู่
มีหน้าล่ะคนดูน้อยมาก
ตื่นมาแต่งหน้าไปทำงานกัน
คนดูน้อยมาก
ไม่เป็นไรเดี๋ยวกลับมาตามดูกันเทียบ
แป้งดี
He
มาก
lost, okay, and he lost big on this. See, there's no question about it. You were with him today. He's the former CEO of Goldman Sachs. He was seen by some as perhaps the last and loudest voice tiptoeing Trump's behavior on issues like this. Politico is reporting this will be the final straw. So now you have Hope Hicks going, you have the report making major massive could be gone soon, you have who knows what's going on with Jeff Sessions. Gary Cohn could be leaving. How important is Gary Cohn?
Listen, I think he's important, but at the same time, I saw you last night, Aaron. There was a lot of talk about unraveling, right? That phrase was used 5 or 6 times. You know what's not unraveling? The American economy, consumer confidence. You know who is unraveling? ISIS.
คืองานกลางคืนมันจะไม่เหมือนกลางวันกลางคืนนี่เราจะเผื่อแบบว่าให้หน้าความแบ่งไม่สนิทเพราะว่างานกลางคืนมันจะต้องแบบเผื่อบางกล้องมันจะมีแสงทั้งไฟทั้งแสงเพราะฉะนั้นจะต้องมีความเป็น
Let me just play for you then, because Anthony Scaramucci spent some time there too, and he now came on TV this morning.
แต่แป้งเขาก็จะมีความเป็นผิว
a bit of time, but he's back and forth all the time. He's president. Okay, he's saying the opposite of what you're saying. What he said this morning.
Morale's terrible. The reason why the morale's terrible is that the rule by fear and intimidation does not work in a civilian environment.
Okay, it's a slam of John Kelly, but that's his comment about you're saying there's confidence. He's saying the morality.
Everyone is reporting.
So one of you guys is telling, one of you guys is
แป้งนี่แหละ
has hundreds of thousands
ก็
of
เมื่อ
dollars
กี้
in
ก็
legal
แต่งสมุกไปแล้วปุ๊บแล้วก็ทำให้เชฟมันแบบได้รูป
Dead wrong on this. Okay, General Kelly is an amazing leader. He's had an amazing career. He's doing an incredible job in the White House right now.
เพราะจริงๆเราอยากจะเน้นสีปากแต่ถ้าสีปากนี้แล้วไปแต่งตาสีอื่นก็จะไม่ไปด้วยกัน
Much consternation out there in America. All right, get away from Washington. Get to
มัน
Wichita.
ดีงาม
Get to Washington State. Out there in America, confidence. Things are going great. People are getting more money in their pay-home checks. People are taking
ผลมันดีมากเลยอ่ะ
business formation. Small business is at an all-time high.
So who do you believe, Steve or Anthony?
น้องขวัญจะชอบเอาผู้กันคอนซีลเลอร์มาแทน
Steve is sitting here. I guess I believe the mooch. Obviously, he has a
เอามา
conflict
ทา
of
ปาก
interest. He hates Kelly. He knows he's
มีความ
gone
รู้สึก
because of
ตอน
Kelly.
ต้อง
So
มา
that does
มันลื่น
impeach
มัน
him
ลื่
to
น
some
สูง
extent, right?
นะ
Look at where he's coming from. On the other hand, everybody is reporting
แต่
about
ไม่ชอบ
chaos
ใช้พวกกัน
around. We
มา
can
ปาก
see
เล็กๆ
chaos.
คือ
We
มัน
can see
ไม่
what's
ใช่
going on.
เหมือนกัน
We
ต้อง
haven't
วัด
even
ขอบ
mentioned
อ
the
ย่างนี้
names
ไม่ได้
กว่า
Jared
จะเสร็จ
in
แล้ว
this
เดี๋ยวมีผู้
segment
กัน
with
ขนาดที่
Ivanka's
ไปซื้อกันมันเล็ก
new
ซิ่ง
investigation into her
แต่
Vancouver
มันจะ
deal
ดี
and Jared
กับ
having
อัน
raised
ที่รา
$500
คาบาท
million
สีเข้มเนี่ยอยาก
from
ได้รูป
countries
บาท
and companies
แต่
that
ถ้า
came to
ชำนาญ
visit
แล้วก็
him
ไม่ติด
when he had this job. These people don't belong in the White House either.
All right.
อี
Well,
สี
thank you
แพ
very
ตตี้
much.
ไอ
You
สี
mentioned
แพต
that.
ตี้น้ำตรง
We
นี้
are
มัน
going to
ส
talk
วย
about that
มา
just in a
ก
moment because it's a big important story tonight. Did Jared Kushner's company land mega loans after key meetings at the White House? If so, it's a stunning story of corruption. New details ahead. And California law enforcement agents are knocking on doors looking for guns. And, well, it's catching some people completely by surprise. How do you feel right now?
Stupid. Hey, saloons along. Thou hast the patchy beard of a prepubescent squire. Thy armor was forged by a
ตอนนี้แบบ
feeble-fingered
เครื่อง
peasant
สำอาง
woman.
ลำโพงมันปรับให้มันแบบว่าดูแบบวัยรุ่นแต่งได้ด้วย
Count on Geico saving folks money.
ดูแบบเปรี้ยวซ่า
Save
เปรี้ยวได้
15%
ได้
or
หม
more
ด
on car insurance.
See, that's funny. I thought you traded options.
พวก
Not
เทค
really
เตอ
a
ร์
Wall
ไม่
Street
ต้อง
guy.
ห่วง
What's the hesitation? It just feels too complicated, you know? Well, share it first, but JJ can help you with that. JJ, can you break it down for this gentleman?
คือบางที
You know what, TD
ชุด
Ameritrade,
ดำเรา
we
ไม่
can
จำเป็น
walk you
ต้อง
through
แต่
your
ง
options
เข้ม
trade step by step until you're comfortable.
I could be up for that. That's taking options trading from Wall Street to Main Street.
Hey guys, want to play some pool?
I'm not really a pool guy. What's the hesitation? It's just complicated.
Step-by-step options trading support from TD Ameritrade.
Psoriatic arthritis tries to
พี่
get
นะ
in my
ยังไป
way.
คุยกับทุกคนเลยว่าอุ๊ยตอนนั้นที่น้องขวัญจะแบบว่ารีเควสให้ไปเกาหลีตอนนี้นะ
I've tried lots
ไป
of
ไม่
things for
ได้
my joint. Now,
แล้วพี่ไม่เคยไปเกาหลีเพิ่งเคยไปครั้งแรกเมื่อคราวล่าสุดนี่แหละ
Think I'd give up showing these guys
ต
how
อน
it's
นู้น
done?
น่ะเสียดาย
Real people with active psoriatic arthritis are changing the way they fight it. They're moving forward with Cosentyx. It's a different kind of targeted biologic. It's proven to help people find less joint pain and clearer skin.
Don't use if you are allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting Cosentyx, you should be checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms of an infection, or if you have received the vaccine or plan to. If you have inflammatory bowel disease, tell your doctor if symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
With less joint pain,
ต้องได้รองเท้า
watch me.
For less joint pain and clearer skin, ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
แต่ก็มันไปได้ก็ไอ้นี่ไปเลยเผื่อบาดมันจะแบบว่าแต่พรุ่งนี้ก็ต้องจัดของแล้วอะใช่เผื่อเปิดบ่ายว่าก็กระเป๋า
Money is like life. You have to decide how to get the most from it. And just like life, every decision affects every other decision. The trick is making good decisions today, so you're ready for tomorrow when it comes. So we need you some simple free tools that let you see how what you do today will affect your tomorrow. So you can make smart choices about how to spend your
อันนี้
money
ลงมันไม่เข้มนะคะน้องขวัญมันจะเป็นแค่เงา
personal capital. Get to know your money.
Introducing False. Broken phone? We fix that. It couldn't be easier. We'll be there in a heartbeat 7 days a week. Check us out at pulse.com. Pulse, for the ups and downs of digital life. Introducing Pulse. New TV to install? We do that. It couldn't be easier. We'll be there in a heartbeat 7 days a week. Check us out at pulse.com. Pulse, for the ups and downs of digital life.
This is CNN, the most trusted name in news.
แต่ถ้านิวยอร์กมันจะแบบวุ่นวายนิดนึงเนาะ
Sources telling CNN that U.S. counterintelligence officials at the FBI are scrutinizing the negotiations and financing surrounding the Trump International Hotel and Tower in Vancouver. The FBI probe could be a hurdle to Ivanka getting full security clearance, which she is, working in the White House without. This is the White House defending her husband, Jared Kushner, after it was revealed that his family business is worth $500
ปัวก็หมายถึงเวลาเราตีอะไรเงี้ยปัวแล้วมันแบบก็มาใช้กับความสวยความงามปัว
คือความหมายดี แบบโดนมากอะไรอย่าง
อะไรอย่างเงี้ย
Christina Alessi is out front.
อันนี้ชอบพูดมากแก้มเดอะสตาร์
This Chicago skyscraper is majority owned by Jared Kushner and his family. Mortgage documents show a fund linked to New York City private equity powerhouse Apollo Global Management provided them with a $184 million mortgage for the building. Apollo was founded by Josh Harris. Months earlier, that same executive was in talks with the White House about an advisory role. According to a source with knowledge of the discussions, Jared stepped down as CEO of his family's business, Kushner Companies, since going to Washington. But questions of conflicts still persist. Also at the White House, Jared met with Citibank CEO Michael Corbett last year. Around the same time, Citibank made a $325 million loan to Kushner Companies and its partners. Spokespeople for both Apollo and Citibank said their executives were not involved in granting those loans.
ปัวจริงแล้วก็ติดปัว
His official power to use the power of the White House to help people that he has
ขึ้นนะอันนี้ลุกนี้
A Kushner Company spokesperson said there was nothing
อันนี้
inappropriate.
อายไลเนอร์นี้ที่เทเนลเฟคคูสเป็นพรีเซนเตอร์ใช่ไหม
Not exist to disparage the financial institutions and the
ดำส
companies
นิท
involved.
ปัวพรีเซนต์ให้หลายๆมันสามารถหักตรงนี้เพื่อให้เข้ากับความถนัดตรงนี้ได้360องศา
During the transition, including a Chinese insurance
ถ้าใครไม่ถนัดหักก็ไม่ต้องถนัด
for the family's biggest bet, 666 Fifth Avenue. The building hasn't generated enough profit to cover its debts.
$1.8 billion was a record price for a Manhattan skyscraper. It's a highly leveraged deal, which means the income in the building wasn't even close to covering what they would have to pay in interest. So it was a deal that a lot of people say was doomed from the start.
About $1.2 billion in debt on the tower comes due next year. But sources say that negotiations with lenders and new sources of capital need to start soon. Kushner Companies confirmed it's in talks to buy out its partner in the project. But the question remains, how will they pay for it? When asked by CNN, they declined to comment.
They're always looking for loans and construction loans and development loans and acquisition loans. So I would say it's an active business.
Kushner Companies also needs to find investors for a development in Jersey City. The company scuttled a plan to use a government program that would help foreigners get U.S. visas in exchange for investment after Jared's sister was reportedly referencing him during a presentation in China. Another deal raised questions. The New York Times reported that Kushner companies received $30 million
แล้วทำไมมันเรียกไม่กันน้ำ
largest financial institutions just before Jared's first diplomatic trip to the country. Last week, the Washington Post reported officials from at least 4 countries, Mexico, Israel, China, and the United Arab Emirates, discussed ways they can manipulate Jared because of his family's finances. The constant search for capital, which is normal for any real estate firm, casts a cloud over Jared's White House role, because like his father-in-law, he has refused to fully divest from his holdings. Aaron, bottom line is that Jared Kushner and his family have complex financial holdings all throughout the United States. And I remember sources telling me early in the transition that Jared Kushner and his advisors were essentially trying to ethics watchdogs and agencies that these deals would not be a problem because they're static deals, long-term and boring. In these examples, they are anything but, and that leaves Jared open to potential conflicts and vulnerabilities so long as he's in the White House and possibly beyond that.
All right, thank you very much, Christina, for that report. And just pretty incredible when you think about it. Washington Post columnist, CNN political commentator Catherine Rampell is with me now. I mean, when Christina's laying that out, $500 million loan after meeting
มุมกล้องกับการพรีเซนต์จะไม่เหมือนกัน
It's hard to wrap your mind around that could actually even happen. How bad is this?
แต่ที่จะไม่ค่อยถ่ายพวกแสงไฟกลม
We don't know the terms of those loans. If you were in financial journalism for a long time, you know it's very easy to hide things in a complicated arrangement like this. You know, what is the right interest rate that should have been charged on these loans? If the right interest rate, you know, let's say the prevailing rate is 4%, they charge 2%, and it's a $100 million loan, that's a $2 million bribe, right? I mean, we don't know what these terms are. What's the right rate given that, you know, this company might be willing or might be about to default as well. So there's a lot of ways that you could have hidden a bribe in these kinds of arrangements, which is exactly why A, we should know the terms, but B, more importantly, he should have divested to begin with.
As Christina points out, as you mentioned, he didn't divest. So if you don't divest and you know the company is raising money, how can you, as a person of integrity and a strong business person, as Jared Kushner apparently is, how could you take
On the one hand, we're told that Jared is some wonderkind who is wise beyond his years and deserves to have all these incredibly challenging things in his portfolio, like peace in the Middle East and trade with China, the opioid crisis, and whatever else. And on the other hand, we're supposed to believe that he's a hapless rube who doesn't know anything about appearance of a conflict of interest. He's innocent. You know, you can't have it both ways.
ก็ตอนที่เมื่อเช้านี่แหละใช่เราก็บอกว่าเขาน่ารักมากแล้วเราก็บอกว่าเขาทำหมดแบบเราชอบมากเลย
Neither one looks good.
ไม่เล่นไอจีซะงั้นก็เลยแบบเผื่อจะแท็กถึกให้อย่างนี้ไงเพราะมีหลายคนแท็กให้เขาก็แบบเขาก็แฮปปี้ตรงที่ว่าเขาแบบเขาบางคนเขาก็น้อยๆปุ๊บกลายเป็นแบบคนไทยรู้จักเขามากขึ้นเลย
See similarities between Jeff Sessions and the bumbling Mr. Magoo. Really.
A Hilton getaway means you get more because you get a break on breakfast. Get an extra day by the pool. Get to spend more time together. Get more from your spring break getaway with exclusive Hilton offers. Book yours only at Hilton.com.
We're drowning in information. Where in all of this is the stuff that matters? The stakes are so high. Your finances, your future. How do you solve this? You don't. You partner with a firm that advises governments in the Fortune 500 and can deliver insight person to person on what matters to you. Morgan Stanley.
เกตมันฟุ้งฟิ้งมากซึ่งงงว่าหลังโคมีด้วยเหรอ
เล่นไฟเนี่ยค่ะ
ใช่
ไฟแล้วเห็นมองตาเปล่าไม่ชัดเท่าด้วยกล้อง
Claritin D relieves 8, including sinus congestion and pressure.
ก็เดี๋ยวนี้ไอ้พวกที่มีพาเลตเนี่ยไอ้พวกฟุ้งฟิ้งเยอะมากมีแบบหลายโทนเลย
DirecTV gives you more for your thing. Your top-rated thing. At 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, 12 out of 10 would recommend that.
เอาเลยเป็นคำนี้
Long-term asthma control medicine, like an inhaled corticosteroid. Brio will replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. Brio is specifically designed to open up airways to improve breathing for a full 24 hours. Brio contains a type of medicine that increases the risk of death from asthma problems and may increase the risk of hospitalization in children and adolescents. Brio is not for people whose asthma is well controlled on a long-term asthma control medicine, like an inhaled corticosteroid. Your doctor will decide if you can stop Brio and prescribe a different asthma
นี่ไง
control medicine.
ปอยเปยก็เข้ามาสวัสดีน้องปอยปอยตีสดา
Ask your doctor if 24-hour Rio could be a missing piece.
วันนั้นกลับไปว่าแม่แค่นี้ก่อนนะอยู่กับแม่ครึ่งชั่วโมงแค่นี้ก่อนนะขึ้นไปจากกระเป๋า
เดี๋ยวรีบส่งคืนพรุ่งนี้ส่งคืนเลยทันที
แม่ก็ยังไม่ได้เข้าบ้านลงเครื่องก็ไปทำงานต่อเลยแม่ก็แบบก็ไลฟ์บ่อยๆ
by sending invisible aligners direct to you. Plus, we straighten most smiles in an average of 6 months.
So convenient. You don't have to go to orthodontist every month. You can go into a smile shop. They also have a kit that they can ship directly to your house. There's really no excuse to not try it.
Get started for 60% less at SmileDirectClub.com.
บัตรมัสคาร่าดูไม่ทำเยอะดู
That's the height of Mount Everest. Because each day she chooses to take the stairs. At work, at home, even on the escalator. That can be
น้องปอยทำอะไร
So now she does it with Dr. Scholl's orthotics. Clinically proven to relieve and prevent foot and lower back pain. By reducing the shock and stress that travel up her body with every step she takes.
น้องปอยได้ต้นไม้หรือเปล่าได้ต้นไม้หรือเปล่า
You're killing it.
พี่กำลังจะซื้อต้นไม้ไปลงที่บ้าน
Breaking news: the White House delaying the rollout of President Trump's gun and school safety proposals following yesterday's chaotic meeting with lawmakers. The source telling CNN the meeting turned everything upside down because the president took positions that were different than those his aides had planned to roll out. So obviously that's a big fracas. But some states aren't waiting for Trump. Stephanie Elam is out front.
More than 6,000 rounds of ammunition, 3 semi-automatic weapons, a shotgun, and a pistol.
One of the assault weapons was fixed with a bump stock.
Bump stocks, like what the Las Vegas mass shooter used to mimic automatic firing, were banned in California in 1990. Altogether, it's an arsenal 57-year-old Timothy Pope is not allowed to have.
ดูแลดีมาก
He was previously convicted of possessing a destructive device, a
ข้าวไม่
felony.
กินไม่ต้องปลุกสกิปทุกมื้อจะนอนยาวๆ
Yeah. In the court.
How do you feel right now?
Stupid.
This bust coming at the end of the daily
แต่
mission
พี่
for
อ่ะ
these
พอนั่ง
California
อี
Department
วี
of Justice agents
ชอบกินข้าวต้มนางอ่ะ
in search of weapons.
ก็เลยบอกว่าเอามื้อแรกไอ้
Department of Justice has recovered 18,000 firearms since the program began. More than 10,000 people are on the list statewide. As the country is again embroiled in the gun control debate, some point out that apps would not have caused the mass shootings in San Bernardino and Isla Vista, California. There are people out there who say, with all the shootings that we've seen across the country, that
โอ้ยทุกคนที่นักผู้โดยสารทุกคนที่จะต่อไฟล์เนี่ยมาแล้วก็มาหาไฟล์กันต่อก็เลยค่ะทีนี้ก็นั่งรอกันอยู่5 หรือ 6 ชั่วโมงเนี่ย
ถามจริงตอนมาคือตกเครื่องเหรอ
ตกเครื่องเลยเขาดีเลยแบบนั่งรออยู่ในเครื่องตอนที่เมืองไทยมาสักเกือบ2 ชั่วโมงมันจะไม่ได้อะอะไรก็ไม่รู้ถามแอนว่าเกิดอะไรขึ้นก็ไม่รู้
นี่เราอย่าว่าสายการบินในประเทศไปได้
But after a night like this, these officers believe apps is a good place to start and that other states should follow California's lead.
จริงๆเห็นต้องมาถึงตอน
And Aaron, this was not their only success of the night. On their second stop, they recovered a handgun under the mattress of a man on probation. After the arrest of the man you saw in the piece here, the agents were circling back to arrest him.
All right, thank you very much, Stephanie. And next, Geneva, on Attorney General Jeff Sessions, the man the President of the United States reportedly calls Mr. McGill.
แต่เดี๋ยวสีปากมันจะแบบว่ามี
more strength and energy in just 2 weeks.
ไม่เลยของเขาเลยเป็นสีคล้ำ
16 grams of protein and 4 grams of sugar. And sure, always be you.
What would our founding fathers want us to do about this
ใช่
president?
ค่ะ
I'm Tom Steyer, and when those patriots wrote the Constitution here in Philadelphia, they created the Commander-in-Chief to protect us from enemy attack. The Justice Department just indicted 13 Russians for an electronic attack on America. So what did this president do? Nothing. He failed his most important responsibility, to protect our country. The question is, why is he still president?
You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase
สี
relieves
นี้
your
เนี่ย
worst
บางที
symptoms,
แบบว่า
including
เดี๋ยวใน
nasal
ไลฟ์ฟังกันไปเรื่อยๆอย่างเนี้ยสีมันจะเข้มนิดนึงเวลาทามันก็จะมีเทคนิคการทาเราอาจจะใช้ความบางของเนื้อลิปสติกเวลาทามันจะแบบว่าแค่ 30% ของสิ่งที่เราเห็นมันก็จะบางๆแต่เราสามารถแบบว่าใช้ทาในชีวิตประจำวันได้เลย
It's the story that needs to be told.
แน่นอนวันนี้ต้องขอใส่ชุดดำ
This is why
เลื
we
อก
go.
ใส่เลือกใส่
Let's go live to CNN senior international correspondent Nimal Bach.
มันทำให้เราแบบดูโดดเด่นได้เวลาแบบใส่ชุดดำเนี่ยนะ
What does hope look like for you? When
บางคนนึกไม่ออกเลยก็ปากแดงไว้ก่อนก็มันเป็นวิธีที่ถูกเพราะยังไงแดงก็เอาอยู่แต่ถ้าสมมติว่าเราเบื่อแล้วหรือเราอยากสีอะไรที่มันแบบถ้าไม่ใช่แดงหลักอะไรอย่างนี้สีพวกนี้ก็ตอบโจทย์ได้เราทาบางไปก่อนแล้วจะให้มันแบบว่าสีเข้มด้านใน
Programs are designed around your individual needs, including detox, inpatient, and outpatient care, along with post-treatment assistance options. Our safe and comfortable treatment centers are accredited and located throughout the country. Best of all, most major insurances are accepted. Imagine relationships renewed and trust restored. Imagine a future you can look forward to every day. It won't be easy, but now is the time to let hope back in. Let us help.
This is CNN, the most trusted name in news.
Throwback Thursday
อัน
and a
นี้กับสี
beloved
ทอง
decades-old
มันเอาไว้ผ
characters
สม
making
อัน
a
อื่นก็
comeback
ได้
all
จริงๆสีทองนี่เราจะใช้อะไรก็ได้เลยได้เพราะว่าไอ้ตัวนั้นน่ะมันจะมีเป็นเนื้อบางอยู่แล้วแล้วตอนนี้ไอ้พวกไอ้เทรนด์พวกสีเมทัลที่เราเอามาป๊อปทีหลังมันฮิตมากและแบบไอ้ลิปแมทด้านๆหนาๆไม่ต้องไปหาใครทาให้มันจะเอา
Cue the split screens. They're now all over the internet. Someone imagine Mr. Magoo himself saying, "Turn on the tweeter, baby, I'm trending." Someone else zinged both the president and the attorney general by having Magoo declare, "I will not be compared to that nincompoop."
ไอ้ผู้กันอย่างนี้มันดีเวลามันทามันช่วยแบบว่าทำให้ไอ้เนื้อลิปสติก
President
มัน
Trump, you're dating yourself. Mr. Magoo is not leadership. Comedians like Stephen Colbert.
Please welcome Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
Can't resist Sessions. Some see a resemblance to the Keebler elf, so Colbert does a recurring Keebler cookie bit imitating.
These insults have come to the quick, I say. Right to my delivery.
And SNL's Kate McKinnon plays him as an opossum-like creature.
Oh no, I dropped my loofah. But don't worry, my trusty little tail's gonna get it.
Sure, Mitch McConnell has been compared to a turtle. You
carry your house around on your back.
But at least he doesn't have the president on his back calling him names.
Twinkle Nose Magoo, they call me.
Gmo, CNN.
I'm not Elf on the Shelf, I'm Jeff Sessions.
New York.
And thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. AC 360 with Anderson begins right now.
Good evening. Once again, we have breaking news from the White House. Word of the West Wing. Another one. That's just after the other one. This time, it's the President's National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster, who himself replaced Michael Flynn. And we should say it has not yet happened. Yesterday, of course, it was Hope Hicks plus an avalanche of other breaking news. Tonight, McMaster's reporting comes with a side order of CNN exclusive reporting on the advisor who is closer to the president than anyone else on earth. his daughter Ivanka, and a deal of hers that could be holding up her permanent security clearance. Once again, a very big night. Master Story, CNN's chief national security correspondent, Jim Shudo. Jim, so what do we know?
Anderson, my colleague Barbara Starr and I are told that General McMaster could leave his position as National Security Advisor by the end of this month, that according to an administration official, or in the near future. Describing it that way. And in addition, it's becoming more likely that McMaster will not return to the military in a possible 4-star general job there, but would ultimately retire as a 3-star general, then go on into a civilian job. This follows many public and private disagreements between McMaster and President Trump, and the feeling from a number of people that I've spoken with is just that his position as National Security Advisor became
แล้วเสร็จแล้วก็เอาผู้กันขอยอดแนะนำวิธีเอาผู้กันเช็ดให้มันแบบเนื้อลิปสติกออกเพื่อที่ขอบมันจะได้ไม่คมแล้วก็ปรับจนเกินไปเหมือนเวลาฝรั่งเขาเขียนปากก็จะขอบมันจะไม่คมเนื้อลิปสติกจะไม่ได้คมแล้ววิธีการนี้บางทีถ้าเกิดอากาศร้อนมันก็ไม่หลั่งออกด้วยเสร็จแล้วปุ๊บเราก็ใช้นิ้วแตะให้ขอบฟุ้งไม่ค่อยได้ใช้เลยแต่ก็ใช้ก็แล้วแต่แบบแต่ดินสอเขียนขอบปากก็เหมาะสำหรับคนที่ต้องสร้างรูปปากเพราะว่าถ้าลิปสติกอย่างเดียวสร้างไม่ได้นะแต่ก็ต้องเป็นโทนสีที่แบบใกล้เคียง
as well. He saying no because he was concerned about how he could fulfill what is basically a political job while still in uniform. Of course, Anderson, that was the position that McMaster was in. He still has his 3 stars. And now the question has been, would he go back to the military? But our information is that he will not go back to the military after his departure. And again, Anderson, I should also say, this is the Trump White House. It's up to President Trump himself, the final decision, and these kinds of personnel moves could always change.
Right, Jim Shudo, appreciate that. Also, because this is clearly a 2-Jim story, let's go to next to Senior Jim Acosta at the White House. So what's the White House saying about this report?
Well, as Jim mentioned just a few moments ago, the president is calling this story that H.R. McMaster might be leaving anytime soon. Fake news. Anderson past being prologue, we know all too well.
เราคุณแมทธิวช่วงรอเขาไม่เล่นแต่จริงๆช่างท็อปก็ไม่มีใครเล่นไม่ว่างจริงๆไปเจอคุณทอมบาชิกที่แบบเป็นไดเรคเตอร์ใหญ่ของเครื่องสำอางแบรนด์ดังระดับโลกนางเล่นเหมือนกัน IG นางมีคนตาม500คือเหมือนแบบเขาก็บอกว่าชีวิตเขาไม่ได้อยู่ในนี้เขาอยู่ที่ตรงนี้แล้วชีก็ทำทุกโชว์แฟชั่นวีคแบบก็จริงเหมือนกันพี่ป้อมก็เลยเอามาเป็นแบบอย่างIG นี่กลายเป็นงานรองแต่ก็ให้ความสำคัญมากตอนนี้
That is not finalized yet, that the deal is not finished, but that is a possibility in terms of a landing spot for McMaster once he leaves.
And if and when this happens, I mean, this will be what, the 11th top level official to leave this White House?
มีหลายสีครับเป็นปลาเป็นอะไรได้หมดเลยหรือใช้เป็นเบสของ
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders was not really closing the door on the
ที่จะเลือกสี
possibility
นี้มันจะเป็นแบบ
อันนี้คือสีอ่อนสุดไหมคะ
น่าจะอ่อนสุดแล้วมันก็จะเป็นออกสีแบบแชมเปญอมแบบโกลนิดหน่อยแต่อันนี้จะเป็นอายแชโดว์เป็นแท่งก็จะใช้เป็นเบสที่มันมีฉากอันนี้ป่ะคะอันนี้ใช้เมื่อเช้าแต่อันนี้ก็สีเขาจะเข้มหน่อยสีก็จะออกเป็นคือจริงๆไอ้พวกเนี้ยเท็กเจอร์ของเขามันก็แล้วแต่เราจะเลือก
matter, but Anderson,
แต่อันนี้มันมีทั้ง
putting aside all the
ประ
palace
กายแล้วก็มี
keep
ทั้
in
งความ
mind
ชุ่ม
we're in the
ชื้นก็
second
เลย
day
เลือกใส่
in a row of the president causing massive confusion on policy issues, on gun control. Yesterday, as we saw, he created all sorts of confusion when he said, for example, that mentally ill people could have their firearms confiscated from them before any kind of due process. And then today over here at the White House, he announced tariffs on aluminum and steel that may be imposed next week. He did that without White House officials even explaining what the details of all that will be, which countries will be affected, and so on. And so for all of this talk of Mr. Magoo, it's been sort of another Looney Tunes week over here at the White House. And since it's Thursday, we can't exactly say that's all, folks. Anderson.
All right, Jim Acosta, thanks very much. Joining us now, retired Army Lieutenant General Lieutenant. Oh, I'm scared. Well, Jill, are we having her join us? All right. It looks like a high school yearbook, but in fact, these are all high-level people. We're talking about this would be the 11th departure leading the administration so far. 5 from communications directors, 5 a chief of staff, a chief strategist, press secretary, Omarosa. Quite a list. Could be growing, as we said. Joining us now is retired Army Lieutenant General Mark Bertling, retired Navy Rear Admiral